Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us here at this great event in Bishop Auckland. But at this particular event, we've got two wonderful speakers for you. We've got Calvin Lawson from Friends of the Earth, and we've got Sharon Lashley from Climate Action North East.
My name is Sharon, and I am the Managing Director of Climate Action North. We used to be North East, but we did a bit of a Game of Thrones thing and took over the North, really. So we kind of dropped the East a while ago, but we still have the website as North East. So, but we are North, so we are working along the whole of the North East in the region, but also into North Yorkshire and also into Scotland and bits of Scotland, because they've asked us to work with them as well. So, this is going to be around a bit, but you can see we have 4 directors. We've got myself and Julie Harrison and Jennifer Claire Robson and Phil McCarry. All of us have been in climate change a long time. I am exhausted because I've worked in climate change for about 30 years, so it's a tough job trying to fight for action in the climate crisis, and it's a difficult job. And I'm a businesswoman in my own right. I have my own business. So I've run my own business for 10 years as an environmentalist, and then I set up Climate Action North as a community interest company, not-for-profit, to drive forward action in the community. What else could we be doing that we're not doing already? So basically we set up this community interest company forming with the 4 directors. So we've all got specialist skills, and we all add those to the community interest company, and it makes us quite powerful, because we have that knowledge to be able to talk to local businesses. We get businesses involved and they actually fund us. So we're not actually funded by lottery money or anything like that. We hit the ground running in 2017 with private corporate money. They paid us, we got on with it. That's what we did, and we still continue to do that now. So these are our sponsors, a lot. The top layer are the people that give us money every month, yay, to deliver what we deliver, and the rest of them are the people we've worked with in the past. There's quite a few on there. There's quite a few not on there because I couldn't get a screen big enough to put them all on. But there's a lot of people that we work with, all with the same sort of principles in mind, and making sure that we can all work together to make a difference. So we have a number of initiatives. So bear in mind, we obviously listen to what Gavin was saying as well. We're not actually a campaign group, but we do stuff. We make sure that we back the campaigns, but we then get on with taking action. And we don't like being slowed down by projects. So it's really difficult sometimes when you work with big, convoluted projects. You want to get on with it and you can't, because for some reason there might be something that's in the way. So we like to be able to work independently with people who want to make a difference, and we can get on with stuff under the radar if we need to, or with bigger partners if we need to. So we've got 4 on the screen there. So we've got Pollinate Parks, which is the one I'm really proud of. So we are rewilding the North's business parks. We're basically taking land off businesses if they'll give us it. So we pinch the land, we get some volunteers, we get money, and we plant British native wildflowers for pollinators. But what we also do is we'll plant native trees in the right place for the right reason. So I wouldn't say we're a tree planting company, we're not. We're a rewilding business. That's what we do. We're trying to get people to wild up their spaces and get back to where they might have been. You've got a lot of sterile business parks. We work on them all the time, but what we want to do is wild those places up and give something back to nature. And what you then inevitably find is that people are actually thankful for that, because they've got somewhere nice to go and eat their lunch, which is good. So we've got another couple of projects. I won't go into too much detail with these because I will be there forever. But Global Wilders is an education project, and that's basically working with schools and communities. So the communities and the businesses as well who pay us to deliver, they give us money to link up their community. So we deliver the activities of Global Wilders. It's an award scheme, and that is delivered in the local school. So the kids do a number of different activities around rewilding, the Sustainable Development Goals, of which there are 17, I see the badge, the SDGs. So we do stuff around SDGs, and we make sure that the children are aware of what they need to be thinking about to be better global citizens in the future. And it's really working as an award. We also have an extension to that to be an Ocean Wilder. So we get the kids on the beach picking litter, and they get their Ocean Wilder stick as well. So then we've got North East Action for Rivers. That is very much a technical project where we are on the boats on the weir. because we're based in Sunderland, and we are actively picking the pollution out of the river. So we're picking the plastic and we're putting it into a repurposing. We have a specialist recycler that works with us, and he repurposes the plastic that we collect into watering cans. So we have watering cans from the plastic from the river. So we're just basically getting on with that, cleaning up the river that we know we can. We've got specialist boat and hovercraft people that work with us as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And then the Free the Trees is all about a project I came up with at Dalton Park, because Dalton Park is one of our clients, and they had loads and loads of trees with the tree guards still stuck, and the trees were just desperate to get out of those guards. So we took all the tree guards off and we've put them through the same repurpose and recycling company. So again, those tree guards have got a different life now. They come out as a watering can, basically. It's brilliant. And then we've got an academy. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but we have an ocean pollution course that is live already, and you get a ticky box for that. It's 4 hours learning. We have a Rewilding Nature and Us course being launched in September, so you can learn more about rewilding. It's a 4-hour course. And then we've got other courses that are being developed, but they'll all have a rubber stamp on, so you can have a bit of formal education. And then we've got the Business Action Toolkit, which is purely for businesses to... Gavin mentioned net zero. We're working closely with businesses about getting them on that net zero journey. What do they need to do to make a start to get to net zero before 2030, which most people are saying to me, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, Sharon, I don't even know what net zero means. So then we have to work with those businesses to translate what net zero means for their business and how they can then become more competitive with the other businesses that are racing ahead. They're getting all the business, you know, they've got loads and loads of opportunity. The smaller businesses are getting left behind because they don't know what to do. So we're making sure that those businesses are equipped through this toolkit so they can move on. This is some nice pictures. So the North East Business Innovation Centre in Sunderland is where our headquarters is, and they were the first people we nicked the land off, really. We said, have you got a piece of land that we can plant up? And they said, yes, we have. We've got this piece of land. It is just completely grass that was mown to within an inch of its life, which is on the right-hand side picture. You'll see the grass is still there. But now we have a flourishing, really thriving mini meadow and 2 pods, we call them pollinator pods. We've got one at the right and one at the left, and they are just thriving. We planted about 300 British native wildflowers in the meadow, but just by leaving it, we got bee orchids. I mean, everybody knows what a bee orchid is. So the bee orchids just came and they just kept coming, and they were just brilliant because we weren't mowing them. So that's really lovely. And it's a really nice way of the people that work at the Business Innovation Centre will often tweet us and say, oh, we've seen a bee orchid, or we've seen a bee, and it's a nice story to think that something is happening. You know, they are finding it, the pollinators are finding it. So Pollinator Parks is a branded programme owned by ourselves, and we have this aspiration to rewild the North's business parks by 2030. So if anybody has a business park that they want us to come and look at, we can come and look at it. So this is Dalton Park. So everybody know where Dalton Park is, the shopping centre? If you go to Marks and Spencer's, go into the garden next to it, that's our garden. The gate is open, it's free for everybody just to wander around. Go and just contemplate in it, you know, wander around, tell us what you see, have a nice look. We've got 4 different types of orchids in there now. So we've got bay, northern marsh, pyramidal and common spotted. Again, they just come on their own because we didn't mow the grass. Fantastic. We did put 300 plants in there as well, so you've got things like the scabious and the hawk's beard and everything. So they're all coming through. We did a walk last week with the Natural History Society of Northumbria. We've got about 50 or 60 different species just by wandering around. So. And then very quickly we've got the Darlington Deans project. Again, this was an extension of Pollinator Parks. Just about making sure some of the park could be wilded up a little bit or go back to rewilding. And we worked closely with Darlington Borough Council with their maintenance teams as well, their mowing teams, and they've completely embraced the new mowing regime and they're not mowing the meadow, which is fantastic. Oh, until the end when it needs a good cut, you know, but you just do the one cut, so that's really good. I'll skim over that one because I'm aware I might be over my time. Give us a nod. So Global Wilders, these are our kids that have gone through the award. We've got Walton Wilders, which is a school in Northumberland. We had Kirk Merrington, not very far from Spennymoor. If anybody's ever been to Spennymoor and Kirk Merrington, go and just drive past the train. The train is amazing, the library train. We crowdfunded to install some solar panels on the train. We think it must be the only solar-powered train in the world. No, we don't. We said it must be a pretty good one. But yeah, we've got solar panels on that library train, and the children are absolutely brilliant. Wycombe Wilders, and then Dalton Wilders, which is again the tree planting that we did at Dalton Park. There is another meadow up the hill, which is all again British native wildflowers and trees as well. We're not just doing trees and bees, we don't just do that, we also do ocean work. So I obviously work in Sunderland, so I'm right on the coast, and I live on the coast, so if we're going to get through the climate crisis, is what I say, we must use the ocean and the sea as a resource, because we did a conference about seagrass just 2 weeks ago. We had just under 100 people in the room. All of the big players from the ocean world were there, and we agreed that we would do something. So seagrass is one of the solutions that came out of that conference, and a lot of people are planting seagrass. Now it sequesters carbon something like 35 times faster than a normal forest. So we must use an ocean environment to sequester and absorb that carbon dioxide, because it's there and we've got it on our doorstep and we should be using it more. So the Ocean Conference was a really important way of driving stuff forward as well. Events. If anybody follows us on social media or they want to go on our website, we're always running events, whether it's face-to-face events, but we have this thing called book wilding, which is rewilding through books. So if you have come across a book that you've read that's like, oh my god, that was really good. I don't know whether anyone's read Wilding from Isabella Tree. Yeah. Well, basically Isabella Tree is our guest in August, and that is her new book on the table. I brought it because it's our toolkit. Because in there is a whole chapter about community rewilding. What can we do in our own gardens, our window boxes, our doorstep? If we haven't got a garden, how can we bring something wild into our environment? How can we do that? So it's a really brilliant toolkit. And so what can we do? I should say, what can we do? Rewild your garden. Who has a garden or who has a yard? I've got a yard. I've been speaking to, we've been talking about yardens, because I've got a yard. It's about the size of half of this room, and it's 30 years in the making, and it is crammed with pots and crammed with fruit trees and crammed with buzzy bees, and I've got bees and I've got butterflies coming in, and I literally just had a common holly blue land in my garden, and I've never ever seen a holly blue before there, and I've got speckled woods coming in. So it's important that you make these spaces for people, and then the pollinators, and they will come. Eventually they will find it. So my aspiration for the community rewilding, so we are going to be sorting this out on a network, is to call them crews, CREW, which is Community Rewilders. So how many crews can we get going across the whole of the northeast to get these hotspots made? It's, lots of people are doing it, and we're working with all those people who are already making wild spaces, but we hope to get them all on the same network with us, so that we can pinpoint on a map who's doing what and where you can go to help if you need to. But all these plants are really important. These are ones that we tend to focus on when we plant. Everybody knows, I'm sure, that bees like purple. They're like really drawn to purple. We go for purple. But don't forget to plant for other pollinators as well. It's not just about the bees. There's something like 237 different species of bees and one honeybee. So it's like making sure that all of these different pollinators have somewhere to go. Moths are really good pollinators, so are the birds, and so are wasps. Nobody likes wasps, but I like wasps, because we wouldn't have beer, chocolate and wine and bread if we didn't have a wasp. So it's important to make sure that we help them all, and remember to leave water out for the birds and the insects. And these are some of our favourite pink and purples. These are all pictures I've just taken yesterday at our Pollinator Parks garden. So we've got the hoverfly landing, the scabies coming out, the red campion and the knapweed, and the bees are landing on them. This is my garden. I've got a flock of goldfinch landing on my birdie spa. I call it the birdie spa, and they land every day, come for a bath, and then they go away, and then the blackbirds come, and then the starlings come, and then everyone else just piles in. So it's important that we provide, you know, habitat for all of the, especially in this weather, not just us getting quite hot, it's all of the nature as well. And that's my yard, and literally the bird box is not occupied by the great tits that were there last year and fledged 9 chicks. It's actually occupied by tree bumblebees. So the tree bumblebees are in there, and I don't evict them because obviously they found it before the birds. So obviously I've got tree bumblebees in there at the moment. So everything's providing a hot spot or a safe haven for everything else. So ways you can help us, if you want to follow us, is we have a newsletter. You can sign up for the newsletter on the website. Or you can become a Patreon. We have a Patreon where you can pay something like £3 a month, the cost of a coffee, and it will come into our fund to either plant trees, plant pollinator parks, deliver activities, whatever you need us to. But you can actually sign up to be any one of those patrons as well. And wear the brand. Oh, sorry. And wearing the brand. Obviously we have a brand. We have a t-shirt for everything. Whether it's a bee or whether it's the ocean or something, we have a t-shirt for that. Yeah, and that's some of our patrons as well there. I think that's me done, but the one thing I would say is that if you are in a position to invest in the Book of Wilding and basically sign up for our talk in August, it's definitely worth doing. And I say there is a whole chapter about how we can rewild from, you know, large scale areas down to a window box. That's me. Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions before we let you go? Would you like to answer questions?
Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, I don't mind. Yeah.
If not,
we
we say thank you very much.
Thank you.
Actually, I do have a question.
Yes.
How can I get involved in the training?
Yes.
You said there was a training academy.
Yes.
I'd love to do the ocean one.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to give me your details
Yeah.
today, or you can go on the website and send us a message through the website, it'll just be info@cliveoption.org. Tell me, what's your name, sorry?
Sophie.
Tell me, I'll remember that.
Yeah.
It's me that picks it up anyway. And then what you can do is it's either can be done online or it can be done in an environment where you might have 3 or 4 people that want to do it. It's about £50 to do in 4 hours learning. But if we have, say, 10 people from an organisation that might want to do it, we would do it like as a reduced cost. And obviously, we'd rather make sure that people were trained rather than say, no, there's not enough people on the course, we can't do it. That's not what we do. I'd rather have one person thinking about the ocean pollution than have nobody on the course because they couldn't afford it or whatever. So I'd rather do that. And it's me that delivers the training anyway. So you can either do it over the computer on Zoom, or if you've got enough people to pull everybody together in a room, we can come down. Okay. But if you go on the CPD website, if you just Google CPD ocean pollution, our course should pop up anyway, so it'll tell you a little bit more about it. But we look at everything from things called nurdles, which are plastic that gets washed up on the ocean, like on the ocean floor and stuff. So we look at everything.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
How much is the book?
The book is a bit of a tomb, actually. That book is, how much did I pay for it? I think it's about 20 something. I can't remember how much I paid for it. It doesn't actually have a cost on here. I think it's about 20 something or 30 something. But it is, I mean, do you want to have a little look at it though? To see whether, because it's really heavy as well. I carried it to you today. It's really heavy. But it's designed, you can actually get to the book through our website on the Book Wilding page, and we get all of our books for the events from Drake, the bookshop. Drake is based in Stockton, a bit of an independent bookshop. She stocks all the books for us, and then you go on, book your ticket, and then you say you can either go and buy the book from them or buy it from bookshop.org, which then gives charity money back out. But it's a really good book, and Isabella Tree is exceptionally knowledgeable. I don't know whether you know, but she basically rewilded all of the Knepp estate. The Knepp estate was an estate in Sussex. It was a traditional farm. And what they did was ditched all of their traditional farming and went across to regenerative agriculture, rewilding. and basically stopped spraying pesticides and everything. And it took them 10 years, I think, to get out of the overdraft that they were in with the bank for being in a traditional farm, but now they are actually making money. We've got glamping on site, they're running tours. It said if you can go in the spring, it's like nothing you've never heard before. The sound of the bird song and the amount, they've got turtle doves and everything landing, they've got storks there. It's just amazing. Like, it's just, I get goosebumps when I think about being there.
Thank you.